Greetings, Dr. Tao here, and today we're going to be speaking about processed foods. Um, Processed foods are basically foods that have been through a factory or had some type of man interference with it. The purpose of this is because of economic purposes to preserve the food so it has a longer shelf life. Um, when it has a longer shelf life, it's more likely to be sold, or you don't have to keep, repeating the process of getting it back on the shelf. So in the long run, it helps. In the short run, it also helps with keeping money in certain people's pockets. Um, the downfall of this is the fact that processed foods are technically dead foods. The life force has been taken out of it, and because of this, any person that consumes these foods, the life force will be taken out of them. Basically, the factory mimics what your body already does. So, say for example, I was to start off with something like sugarcane grass. The factory would take that sugarcane grass and process it. It would go through a process that mimics my liver, my colon, my kidneys, my pancreas. And the end product of that would be what we call white sugar. Um, so um, the end product of something is basically a processed food. Now, with that said, is if I were to give you a whole food, say for example an apple, that's natural, that's unprocessed, and you were to consume it, you would masticate it with your teeth, and you would chew it and swallow, and you would go through your liver, your pancreas, your kidneys, your colon, and the end product of that is what you would call the waste product. So basically, what you are consuming when you consume white sugar, you're consuming a waste product. Now, the thing about this is any waste product has a certain amount of what we call scent or pheromones to it. And we try to hide this with deodorant, soaps, and detergents, and do all these types of things to mask the smell. And we wonder why we feel a certain way. um, so if people think that the human body stinks, or your breath naturally stinks, or the bathroom is supposed to stink after you leave, those are misnomers. That's not actually correct. The human body does not stink. It's the things that we're doing to it that causes the body to have offensive odors to it. And if we see that the processed foods by definition is the waste product of a factory, then we're eating waste, and all waste has a certain smell to it. So we have to be aware of these things and understand that nature has a deodorant built into it already, which we call chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is nature's natural soap and deodorant. So it keeps the body smelling fresh. Sometimes I say when you're green inside, you're clean inside. And that's very true when it comes to plants, because plants actually help the body smell fresh. So when you consume a processed food, the body takes its own life force to put the minerals back into it. So what I'm saying is, if you eat white sugar, the body has to turn it back into sugarcane grass before it could be digested. So, but now you've consumed it. So where does it get its minerals and vitamins from? It gets it from you. So it pulls from your teeth, your skin, your hair, your eyes, your heart, your kidneys, your pancreas, anywhere that it can find the minerals and vitamins, the body will pull from it just to put back into the food so it can digest it. Because the body says, I'm a holy temple, and I only recognize holy things. And holy means whole, and whole means helios, and helios means the sun. So all food should have sun energy inside of it. This is why the word vitamin means vitality. Our vi means the sun, ta means to give, and men means God. So vitamin means to give the information of God, you see. So, and you also say amen, or vitamin, amen, amen ra, are the hidden sun. Words like nutrition, words like mineral, those are all spiritual names. So all food should have a certain life or sun energy into it. But when we cook the food or fry it, these energies are taken out of the food. So the body has to keep itself whole, and the only way the body can keep itself whole is to put whole foods back into it. This is what keeps you a whole person and into a stable mind state. This process is called digestive leukocytosis. And digestive leukocytosis is basically when the life force has been taken out of the food, and the body has to take its own enzymatic bank and put back into the food, which actually raises the white blood cell count. And what happens is the body goes into a panic immune response, which actually over time makes the immune system very weak, which makes you more susceptible to certain diseases. So if you want a strong immune system, then you would have to make sure that you're eating foods as closely to nature or as natural as possible. This is what keeps the body strong and robust and not susceptible towards diseases. All diseases are basically disobedience to nature, or disobedience to natural laws. Since we don't know how to eat, we tend to be more susceptible to certain diseases, and not knowing that, we're the ones that are pretty much making ourselves more susceptible towards it. So the processed foods that you see in the stores are basically embalmed foods, funeral foods. They're funeral stores. You call them grocery stores, but they're basically a cemetery for food. And you use your own stomach as a graveyard. So people have different animals inside their stomach that they're walking around with. So they have, chickens and cows, all types of things. This is not any judgment on anyone, but we are walking around with little pet cemeteries in our stomach, and expecting life to come from that, or a stable mind state to come out of that, and you just can't get those two to kind of correspond there. Back in 1986, they went into a prison and they actually changed all the inmates' diet into a plant-based diet. And for the 2 weeks that they changed the diet to plant-based diet, there were no fights in the prison. So we see that food and behavior go hand in hand. This is just information. If you want to research it, you can as well. Just passing information along. But there is a correlation between what you eat and how you behave. This is where a lot of behavior issues come from. Basically, you really won't see too much somebody doing a drive-by with a smoothie in their hand. It's not something you see. Usually their brain is toxic already. The blood is toxic. And all these things are caused from, the processed foods that we consume on a daily basis. So basically we call the vertical casket to get ready for our horizontal casket. The vertical casket is what I call a refrigerator. So you open your vertical casket daily with processed foods to prepare yourself for your horizontal casket. So we have to be more cognizant of what we consume and what we put in our bodies, and to know that the main thing is to eat unprocessed foods. You don't want to spend a whole dollar for partial food. You want to invest your dollar to make sure that you're buying foods that are whole, so you get your whole dollar worth of food instead of spending your whole dollar that you work for and getting partial food back. So that's already a ripoff right there. That's what we call food contraband. So it's food that looks like food, tastes like food, but it's not actually food. Anything that you would give to a healthy person should make them healthier. Anything you give to a sick person should make them healthier if it's healthy food. Anything you give to yourself, you should be able to give to a 2-year-old baby, basically, and should make the baby healthier. So if I were to eat, or if someone who was healthy were to eat something processed or do something that was supposedly healthy, then it should make me healthier. So that's how you gauge health, basically. Um, so we'll go more into this a little bit later. Just want to kind of touch on this subject of processed foods. A lot of us know these things already. Just kind of touching on a few little points here and there that you could research yourself. But it does cause the immune system to get weaker. It causes you to age quicker, which we call advanced glycation end product, which we call AGE, which is aging. So it causes you to age quicker as well. So many things that it's detrimental to the body. So we want to make sure that we keep the body as a holy temple, eating whole foods. And holy means helios, which is the sun. So we don't want to cook the sun out of the food, fry it, all these types of things we do. So with that said, everyone have a beautiful day. Get some sunlight, get some vitamin D. Stay healthy, stay fit. It's a lifestyle, not a diet. Peace.